This guide will show you how to configure SimHub and CrewChief to remind you to save your race when you enter the pits. This is of most use when you're doing league endurance races of 90 minutes or full endurance races, which can be several hours long, and you want to save your race file for later playback or in case you unfortunately need to put an incident into the stewards. So we're going to need a few things, and the first thing is an audio file that will play when we enter the pits to remind us to save our race. So if we start with File Explorer, and we start on C drive, if you look on C drive, you should see Program Files x86. If you go into there, you should see SimHub on my list of folders. Go into SimHub, and within there you'll see a Sounds folder. Go into the Sounds folder, and then there's a list of audio files. I've created some custom files, and one of them is a save game reminder audio file, and one is save race. So we'll listen to these. Chief, save race. And the save game reminder, save the race. So we can choose one of these to play in SimHub. So this is the location where you will need to put your audio file that you want to play when you enter the pits to act as a reminder to save your race. So we go to SimHub, and then we come down to Controls and Events. By default, it's on Controls. And if you click on Events at the top of the screen, there's a list of events here that prompt SimHub to take a certain action. So we'll be adding a new event action. So click on New Mapping, and a new window is displayed. Now on the left hand side is the event that will take place, and on the right hand side is the action that SimHub will take when that event occurs. So on the left hand side, if you scroll down the list, you should see in the list of entries a item called Pit Enter. Select Pit Enter, and then on the right hand side you'll see the audio control plugin, and it's appended the word play to the start of all the audio files that we found in the sound folder. So if we scroll downwards, we can see that there's the save game reminder file and the save race. I'll select save race. So now what we're telling SimHub is when we enter the pits, play the audio file, save race. Click on OK, and that action's been added to the list. However, that's going to play for every single game we've got. So to edit an existing entry, double click on it, and the window will come up again. We don't need to change the source of a target, but at the bottom here you'll see a games option, and that currently says all games. Click on the drop down list, and you can see every single sim that SimHub currently supports is listed there. Click on none, and it unfortunately closes the list, which is a little bit irritating. So click on the drop down again, and this time only select Assetto Corsa Competizione, and then click on OK. So now you can see that our reminder reminding us to save our race will only play when we're playing Assetto Corsa Competizione when we enter the pits. That's the configuration for SimHub complete. And if you want to manually save your race when you enter the pits, you don't need to do anything else. As you pit, the audio reminder file will play, and then you can manually save your race. However, if you want to use CrewChief, watch the next set of steps. So if you launch CrewChief, make sure that Assetto Corsa Competizione is selected as your game on the right hand side, and then come down and click on the Command Macro Editor. By default, because you've already selected Assetto Corsa Competizione, it's selected on the left hand side. And then just alongside it, in the center of the window, there's a list of available macros. We'll be creating a new macro, so just below that window, click on Create New. We need to give the macro a name, which is entered into the text box just below, and we will call it Save Race. The next area to look at is the voice command, and this is what you will say to CrewChief to make it activate this macro. And again, we'll call it save race. So when we activate Crew Chief in voice mode, we will say to it save race, and it will do what we tell it to do. We can get Crew Chief to read back a confirmation message that it's executed the command we've given it. So just below where we've given it the voice command, if you click on select confirmation message, in the window that opens, choose the acknowledge folder, and then choose the OK folder, and then choose free.wav. Finally, we need to give this macro a description. So we've created our macro. So click on the Add Save Changes button. So the save race macro has been created and it's been added to the available macros list. However, at the moment, this macro does not do anything. So we need to ensure we've got Action Edit selected in the mode, and in the area below, this is where we will set the action that will be taken when this macro is executed. So what we want to do is we want to have a single key press, and that key press will be to press M. So if we scroll down the list of available keys and we look for key M, and then we need to add that action to the sequence. And that's the only action we need to take. Let's click on the Save Sequence to Macro for Assetto Corsa Competizione. So now, when we bring up Crew Chief and we say to Crew Chief, save race, it'll send the M keystroke to Assetto Corsa Competizione, and that will make the game save the race. So close this window because our macro creation is complete. What we also need to do though is enable voice recognition mode for this to work. And I've used the setting for where the trigger word is chief. So when Crew Chief is running in Assetto Corsa Competizione and I've got my microphone on, if I say chief, Crew Chief will await my command. So let's start Crew Chief up.
Radio check.
And then let's start Assetto Corsa Competizione. Okay, so now we're going to pit in and test our new SimHub and Crew Chief changes. And we're looking for SimHub to play our audio file reminding us to save the race as the car rises up onto the jacks. So I'll keep an ear open for that play. Reminder, save the race. So we've been reminded, so we better do as instructed. Chief?
Now you're breaking up.
Chief? Save the race.
Okay.
There you go. The replay was saved for us, just as we wanted. Hope this has been useful and helps you manage to save those files rather than forgetting, as nearly all of us do at the end of any race that's over an hour long. Hopefully I'll see you all next season, and have a good one. See you soon.
Let's go.